Now, let's see another example where changing the order of tasks is a bit trickier, problematic, or not so obvious. If you remember from the transition video, clients are getting impatient. They're in a hurry as they come in their lunch break to our restaurant, which is a limited time for them. So, as noted before, we have a multitasking job anyway, and clients be in a hurry as they are pressed by time. For this reason, I make my own priority to first serve clients in the restaurant all the way through with no interruptions, without taking delivery orders in between, and afterwards go back to missed calls for delivery orders and call back those clients to take their orders. So I changed the order of serving clients from double serving, which is about serving in the restaurant and take delivery orders at the same time, to prioritizing them. First the restaurant all the way through and then take delivery calls. Now, the question is, what are the consequences and implications of having priorities in a highly disorganized, chaotic, and unpredictable environment? For a more accurate and clear perspective, we will look at both the implications of multitasking and priorities so that we can make the difference between them and get a clear picture and more integrated perception of the business. First, implications for multitasking, in this case for that double serving. So the good part, the positive side of this is that I can cover both transactions relatively at once. I take the client's order in the restaurant, I interrupt her serving in order to take a delivery order on the phone. The logic is, since the client is already in the restaurant and places her order, it is less likely that she will leave. So we will delay her service so that we can also take the delivery orders. If we don't, there is the risk that the client on the phone will not answer our call back and place her order somewhere else and hence lose the sale. Now let's look a bit closer at how this double serving looks like. So I take an order from a client in the restaurant. Instead of serving her immediately, I pick up the phone and take a delivery. The client on the phone asks for a product modification or an information that I don't know. So I run immediately to the kitchen downstairs to ask the cooks in time for the modification while they were still preparing the product and it's still possible. Then call back the client to confirm her order. In addition, the client on the phone is new and needs more time and assistance to answer her questions. So what was supposed to be a 30 seconds order is getting to a 5 or even 10 minutes, which is a lot when the restaurant is full. The client in the restaurant gets impatient as she is in her lunch break and knows that our food is ready. So all she needs is just to serve it immediately. So I tried this, so this is how a double serving looks like. I tried this double serving alternating between restaurant deliveries about 4 times, and every time I was either making mistakes or my colleague was getting stuck all by herself with a full restaurant while I was stuck on the phone with one client, because first, picking up the phone was an interruption by itself which was causing delay in serving, and second, double serving implies multitasking, since each client category implies a different sum of actions to be served. It increases pressure on me as I handle more things in less time. This was leading to delays in the restaurant and also mistakes, such as sending incomplete orders. These delays make some clients angry and impatient and decreases my patience and attention that I give to each client. Sometimes clients in the restaurant see that I take delivery order instead of serving their soup, and I could tell from their face that they are not happy at all. So as you can see, sometimes taking a delivery order implied many other small actions besides just writing it down for 30 seconds. I could observe myself that if I was playing the double serving game between a delivery and the restaurant, I had difficulties making a decision to make the right adjustment because there was always a client at loss. To this scenario, you can also add that in the restaurant we also have multiple clients to serve or other delivery orders to prepare and set, clean dishes, and so on. However, the business owner didn't see a problem if a client waits longer in the restaurant while we take delivery orders, because her focus was on covering both transactions at once without the risk to lose the delivery once. A missed call meant a lost sale. So for her, it made sense. It made sense. So from her perspective, any adjustment would be justifiable, even if it takes longer, even if it requires effort, even if it creates a bigger mess. Now, let's see the implications for priorities. For my personal priority, my main focus is to improve the order of tasks so that we can serve clients more efficiently as they're in a hurry. So with my priority, I'm cutting the possibility to increase the amplification of multitasking and has further mistakes. With this context, I was reducing the delays and angry clients from a double serving approach by avoiding the amplifications of multitasking. So I was reducing delays, not eliminating them, okay? Why? Because the job was multitasking anyway. Besides taking deliveries, we still had multiple clients to serve in the restaurant, multiple clients to buy to go. We also had to clean dishes, bring food from the main kitchen for selling, and so on. In addition, there was always a new client that didn't know the products and had health issues or allergies. These clients needed extra time and assistance for clarification. They had many questions, they want product modifications, they were skeptical, they are unsure which product to choose, and so on. So, by serving a client in the restaurant all the way through, without taking delivery orders in between, I could give clients my full attention. I had more patience to listen to them, I had more understanding, and I had an open, welcome attitude because my attention was not split in multiple directions. So only this last fact, the fact that I was open and welcome, I was giving them my full attention, was influencing a closed, rigid client to become open and to buy more and live with a good impression. Now, after I finish with this new client in the restaurant, then I would go back to missed calls from delivery and I call back all those clients, take their orders, and also give my full attention to their requests and questions. Now, depending on the traffic in the restaurant, usually it would take me 1 to 5 minutes to get back to a missed call for deliveries. With the higher traffic in the restaurant, it would take me up to 15 minutes. However, there were also some rare times when the restaurant was extremely full and it would take me about 30 to 45 minutes to go back to a missed call for deliveries. In this situation, we'd lose the sale, as clients won't pick up the phone anymore. So even with this priority in place, the job was multitasking anyway, as explained before. So there were still delays and mistakes. So these are the implications for my priority. Now, let's look back at multitasking. The thing about multitasking was that the negative effects were not constant. Clients were not angry, were impatient all the time. Delays were not happening all the time because demand and traffic was varying so much between two extremes, a very full restaurant and an empty one. So we had all kind of scenarios in between, and there are times when we can alternate between the restaurant and delivery calls without making any mistake, delays, or without any impatient clients, because, for example, not all clients are in a hurry and they had the patience to be served. So we had these variations in serving when multitasking is necessary and when it has no negative effects. So my colleagues and the business owner are using these situations together with the missed call from deliveries in those rare situations as an evidence that we didn't need to organize the serving process, as we could handle it just like that. We couldn't anticipate all possible scenarios, so they didn't agree with my priority. At the same time, I was using those situations when double serving were causing delays, mistakes, and angry clients to support my argument for priority prioritizing restaurant over deliveries. So there were times when multitasking is necessary as it covers both transactions, the restaurant and the deliveries, and it was working without any mistakes and delays. But there are times when it also produces delays and mistakes, which lead to angry and impatient clients almost daily. In these situations, priorities in chaos are a better choice. It gives more attention, patience for clients, and reduces mistakes. But they also produce loss. They also produce lost delivery calls, which are lost sales in those cases when the restaurant is extremely full. And at the same time, with this priority, I was a bit inflexible, as I didn't want to adjust when maybe it was the case. Now, the problem is we couldn't anticipate the exact scenario or situation when to go with multitasking and when with priorities. So in this situation, who is right? In order to see, is it me with my priority or the business owner with multitasking? So in order to see who is right, we have to look at the effects and decide what is worse. So what is worse? Angry, impatient clients that live insatisfied on a daily basis because of delays and mistakes and poor service, or missed calls from deliveries that didn't even have the chance to talk to us in those extreme cases when the restaurant was full. Well, impatient clients were the result of multitasking, and missed calls are the result of my priority. An impatient client is still someone who buys, although you don't know for sure if he will come back. But a missed delivery call is a certain missed transaction, which was a clear evidence for losing money. From the business owner perspective, the answer was very obvious. However, this is the perspective from overlapping activities, which is in the immediate time and space. Although from my point of view, lost missed calls were very rarely, and they were taking place when the traffic was high, but angry, impatient clients were happening almost every day. If you look at the immediate loss, what seems to be imminent, a missed call was worse for the business owner than an impatient client. But in terms of quantity, we had more unsatisfied clients that were still buying than missed calls. In addition, we never knew with certainty if and how many of these two clients categories would come back and buy from us given the mediocrity of our service. So as you can see, it is difficult in a highly disorganized business to measure and to decide what priorities are right and which are wrong, which produces more losses and which are not, and which is better than the other. So no matter if you go with priorities or with multitasking, you're still going to lose in some way in a chaotic business. So as you see, we are constantly getting in conflicting problems, in problems which are the sum of conflicting facts. So in this situation, why would you attempt anyway to make priorities by changing the order of things, since you lose anyway and there is no big shift in the business performance, no urgent problems are reduced, and no obvious results? So first, remember that this is just the first perception of an urgent problem, which is the moment of occurrence in the immediate time and space. It is what happens right here and right now. The loss is perceived in terms of the immediate impact, if the sale is made or not, if clients are angry or not. But we have learned from the transition video that in terms of relativity, this is just one way of looking at a problem. Now, second, if you notice, this is a conflicting situation, just like in the transition video when we needed a second employee for serving clients, but the restaurant couldn't afford to hire one. So when we have conflicting realities or facts, it means we are looking only the immediate time space of the problem. That is why we have to increase the space of the problem, our perspective about it, by integrating other individual facts from the business in order to get a complete picture about it, and eventually with time to also identify the main cause for urgent problems. And this is what we will do with the next patterns. We will increase the space of this problem and come back to answer this question. So in separated activities video, we will integrate additional information to this dilemma, conflicting facts of priority versus multitasking, a highly disorganized business, and we will see how it changes our perception about the problem. Now remember that you won't be able to get beyond urgent problems unless you get through this small stuff, okay, that seems so irrelevant and confusing, and verbalize them and articulate what is going on around you in your physical presence, because your first perspective and starting point is you being inside your job or business, surrounded at 360 degrees by an overwhelming diversity of problems. So you have to be able to articulate the logic of the chaos around you that produces urgent problems before being able to identify that one pattern that generates them and that makes them that makes the internal organization impossible. So articulating what is unclear during the day happens during reviewing times. So you have to take every day some time for just reviewing your daily activities, just the way it comes to mind. Okay, so far we have two types of solutions for overlapping activities: reallocating resources and changing the order of performing tasks. There is a third type of solution for overlapping activities, and I will present it in scattered activities, because it is also the main cause and source for most of urgent problems in the restaurant. So that's it for now. See you in the next video to integrate more information and increase the space of our dilemma and answer our conflicting problem.